Pleased to know we are now in public session, and I invite the public into the gallery.
What's a rush there, John? Right. There's something very close to the door that could be a rush.
Rush and public, yeah.
Okay.
Everyone, welcome to today's meeting of the Public Accounts Committee. My first duty is to welcome Mr Jim Wells back to the Public Accounts Committee. Jim, you're very, very welcome. You served in 2008, 2009, and we remember it well. Your contribution was very positive, and we look forward to that. I hope I did tell you to turn off your mobile phones, your electronic devices, with the exception of your tablets, of course, which contain your electronic committee meeting packs. It is not sufficient to put mobiles on silent mode, as they continue to interfere with assembly recordings. The session has been recorded in video and audio and can be accessed live via online streaming, either on the Assembly website or on Democracy Live. We move to the first item on the agenda: apologies. Members, I have received apologies from the chairperson, Ms Boyle, Mr Flanagan and Mr Hussey. Are members aware of any other apologies? No other apologies? Members, yes, I've already preempted that. But I need to thank Mr Alex Easton for all his work on the committees. On behalf of all the members, I would like to wish him well in his new role as Deputy Chair of the Health Committee. Indeed, I spoke to Mr Easton just before the meeting there, and we, of course, do wish him well and thank him for his very useful contribution to this committee. Agenda item 2, minutes of the meeting of the 13th of May 2015. Members, the minutes of the last meeting can be found at page 5 of your electronic packs, the blue packs for those who are not yet using the electronic system. Members, are you contented I write the minutes into the record? Silence gives consent. Move on to item number 3, which deals with correspondence. Members, on page 8 of your electronic packs, the blue packs for those of you not yet using the electronic system, you will find correspondence from a member of the public regarding the Northern Ireland Fire and Rescue Service pension scheme. They have copied the PAC into an email to Department of Health, Social Service and Public Safety, complaining that incorrect information had been provided by the Fire Authority relating to the valuation of an employee's pension fund. The correspondence also makes reference to a whistleblowing complaint made earlier this year, which has yet to be addressed. Members, are you content that we forward this correspondence to the Audit Office to consider?
Agreed.
Members, are you content that we write back to the member of the public informing them of this action?
Agreed.
Okay. The second item of correspondence received from NIPSO Ad Hoc Committee. At page 11 of your electronic pack, blue pack for those of you not yet using the electronic system, you will see correspondence from the Northern Ireland Public Service Ombudsman Ad Hoc Committee. The correspondence highlights that a bill, the Northern Ireland Public Service Ombudsman Bill, was introduced to the Assembly last month. The bill will combine the offices of the Assembly Ombudsman and the Commissioner for Complaints into a single office to be known as the Northern Ireland Public Services Ombudsman. In particular, the bill makes provision for the Controller and Auditor General and the Northern Ireland Audit Office to be placed under the remit of the proposed new office of the Ombudsman. The Ad Hoc Committee is requesting the views of the PAC Committee on these changes by Tuesday the 26th of May. Kieran, do you have any comments which you wish to make on these proposed changes?
No, we're very pleased with the changes, and I think it's entirely right that my office comes under the remit of the Ombudsman. That's only one aspect of the changes. The Ad Hoc Committee has also written to myself as to whether we should address them, and we're happy to do that.
Thank you. Members, do you have any comments to make?
No.
Can we agree on a response to give back to the ad hoc committee? Now, the next piece of correspondence deals with the annual report and accounts for 2014-15 of the Ulster Orchestra, going concern issues. Members, an extract from the annual report and accounts of the Ulster Orchestra for 2014-15 has now been tabled. The audited accounts were sent to the committee anonymously with no cover note. The extract shows the auditor's report, which includes an emphasis of matter paragraph raising concerns over the company's ability to continue as a going concern due to significant operating shortfalls. While the Ulster Orchestra receives a substantial public funds, it is a company limited by guarantee and does not come under the remit of the PEC. Members, are you content? We forward this to the CAL committee.
Agreed.
Agreed. We move on to item 4, matters arising. A report on the estimate of the Northern Ireland Audit Office 2015-16. The PEC wrote to the Audit Committee on the 26th of March 2015 expressing its concerns over the inadequacy of the estimate for the Northern Ireland Audit Office for 2015-2016. A memo from the Audit Committee to the PEC dated 15th of May 2015 is now tabled. The memo indicates that the Audit Committee considered all of the evidence presented to it, but agreed the estimate presented to it by the CNAG without modification. The estimate is consistent with the Executive's budget for 2015-16. The memo also highlights the Audit Committee's full report on this matter, which is available on the Assembly website. Members, have you any comments which you wish to make regarding the final agreed estimate of the Northern Ireland Audit Office for 2015-16? Members are content that we write to the Audit Office to express unease. Apologies. I will start again because this is critical. Members are content that we write to the Audit Committee to express unease at the inadequacy of the NIAO estimate and pointing out that any shortfalls arising from insufficient savings being met through the voluntary exit scheme should be funded through monitoring rounds to ensure that the Northern Ireland Audit Office is sufficiently resourced to sustain its services to the Assembly. Apologise for that mix-up at the beginning, but hopefully, members, you've got the gist of it.
Could you read that again? Just how
I think it's the last paragraph. Members are content that we write. Are you content that we write to the Audit Committee to express unease at the inadequacy of the Northern Ireland Audit Office estimate and pointing out that any shortfalls arising from insufficient savings being met through the voluntary exit scheme should be funded through monitoring rounds to ensure that the Audit Office is sufficiently resourced to sustain its services to the Assembly? Perhaps, Kieran, you would clarify that, maybe.
What does that mean? Well, I suppose there's a lot of uncertainty around the budget. Yeah, we have a much reduced budget. For us to balance the books this year, we need access to the voluntary exit scheme. I think that's agreed in principle, but there will be uncertainty as to the take-up on that. Since we last met, we now know that we have a reasonable degree of interest in the scheme. So if that goes through, then the probability of balance or the risk of not balancing the books is reduced. So, but it's critical to balancing the books. That's all I'm saying.
So maybe just for the help of members, am I to assume that you don't automatically qualify for the voluntary exit scheme?
Well, how would I put it? We have a bid in at the minute. So there's uncertainty as to whether that bid will be accepted in full or part. Our understanding is, yeah, we will get something. So all I'm saying, there is uncertainty at this stage.
Okay.
And
Members, anything to add to that?
So, Chairman, what are you asking us to agree?
I think that we were asking you to write to the Audit Committee to express unease at the inadequacy of the estimate. Obviously, the Audit Office has taken quite a hit in reduced monies available to carry out its work, and that may well result in inviting some people to exit the Audit Office through the voluntary exit scheme.
That's why I'm slightly confused, maybe, Kieran. If the intention was always, and it was agreed by all the parties in relation to the voluntary exit scheme, why are we then raising concern about it?
well, there's uncertainty as to whether our bid would be accepted at this stage. So in a worst-case scenario, if we didn't get access to the funds, or B, we didn't get traction on it, then we'd be vulnerable. Balance in the books would have to go into the monitoring rounds. So it's in that scenario we would need access to additional money.
No, that's okay, mate.
So that's essentially what.
That makes more sense now, yeah.
Yeah.
I think probably, Trevor, it's just finishing off our correspondence with the Audit Committee, which, you know...
Yeah, no, that's fair enough. Just, I was a wee bit unclear just the way the Chairman was presenting it. That was all.
I do apologise. I do not have your skills as a chairperson. Item number 5, inquiry into health and social care.
So are we writing now? Or are we writing or not writing?
I think, are we agreed? Yes. All right. Item number 5, inquiry into health and social care, sector report 2012-13 and 2013-14, and private practice on HSC premises in Northern Ireland. Introduction to briefing. Kieran, could I now invite you to provide us with a short introduction to the briefing on the General Health and Private Practice on HSC premises report in open session.
Thank you, Chair. This is a report we haven't published yet. It's due to be published next Tuesday. It's one we do either annually or biannually. It's really an overview of the state of the nation on the health service. So it's not drilling into specific topics. So it's a general overview, and the main headings are on the finances, the operational performance, waiting list targets, to focus on waiting list for cancer patients, emergency care targets. There's a chapter on that. There's also a chapter on procurement. Focuses in on specific procurement issues in the Northern Trust. There's a chapter on counter fraud. And there's also a section on sort of private patients and revenue from that, and the importance of chasing up bad debt. That was originally going to be a separate standalone report, but we decided the figures weren't huge, so we've subsumed it within this general report. That's just a very quick overview of the main chapter heads, and thank you, Chair.
Well, thank you very much. Members, for the remaining items of business, it is necessary that we move into closed session. Are members content that we now move to closed session? Great. We are now in closed session. Item number 6, inquiry.
This is the Northern Ireland Assembly Committee.